Hi, welcome back. I'm Dan Wilcox. You are about to see show number 4 of Hey, Let's Hang Out. Do you mind if I paint? So what I've got today, pretty similar to, similar in related style anyway, to um, either number 1 or number 2. I'm getting the order a little mixed up and don't have them in front of me, but I've got a 16 by 20 canvas. I did order this one, or got this from Bob Ross Ink. So this one came um, as a white canvas primed with a gray acrylic. So it started as white and gray. You might be able to see that on the side here. So I painted that completely black with black gesso, let that dry completely, put a real thin even coat of liquid clear on it. And then you can probably see lightly in the camera here around this top piece kind of at an angle here, and then across the bottom, most of it here, is a mixture of alizarin crimson with Van Dyke brown. Now, pretty limited palette again today. We just got titanium white, brown, dark sienna, alizarin crimson, that's the brown, and alizarin crimson I mixed together, cad yellow, yellow ochre, and some Indian yellow. I forgot to smush these on the palette, so I hope they don't run off and fall more on the floor. I've got quite a few examples of that down at my feet, and then some bright red when we're ready to sign it. So I've been having this recurring vision, and I've been seeing little heart shapes everywhere for quite some time. So we're not going to exactly go for a heart shape, but I'm going to kind of make it go with this vision I've been having. So I'm going to try a little something different with the light here and how it's coming down. And I think we're going to do water down here and maybe some like, I don't know, cliff looking things with trees on top. I don't know. Let's just get started and see where we go. So I'm going to take some white and a little bit of yellow ochre, mix that in, and this is going to be our brightest part in the middle. We may add a little more bright white, or excuse me, titanium white once we get it on the canvas if we need to make it a little bit lighter right in the middle. And we may use some liquid white kind of just to brighten up and shine up the water a little bit when we get there. So that's pretty good there. I'm going to add just a smidge more titanium white to that. I just wanted a smidge lighter. If you've ever mixed paint this way, I just messed it up by going too much dark first. It's way easier to add a little bit more dark at once or at a time just to get it to get lighter. So, but that worked out okay. That worked out okay. And since we're only on a 16 by 20, I'm just going to use a 1-inch brush. You can do this with a 2-inch brush. You can do it with whatever kind of brush you want. So just a clean, dry 1-inch brush is what I'm going to use. If you see, I do use Bob Ross tools. This is the way I learned how to paint about, let's see, July will be 2 years ago. Please don't hear that as any direct endorsement by, employed by, or otherwise. Other than being a student of the Bob Ross Company, I've taken 2 week-long classes already, and the very first class was from a Bob Ross certified instructor, a 1-day or a 3-hour that I just fell in love with painting back in July of 2020. I am super excited because just over the last couple of days, I made my reservation well, I haven't finalized yet, a couple things I'm working on, to take the level 2 and 3 instructor training at the gallery in New Smyrna. So with Nick, the instructor over there. So that'll be happening later this year. So I'll certainly share that exciting info with you as it comes. So let's get going. I did start a timer. We're going to take a shot at getting this one done in about 30 minutes. So let's see. I've blabbed away for about 4 minutes now. And if you're watching this, I want to say thank you, because with our other videos, we are literally up to dozens of views on YouTube of these painting videos. So I hope you're digging them. And I know my mom and I have probably counted for maybe a dozen of those, but not all dozens. So I'm super excited. I just hope people are digging it. So just kind of pick where the brightest spot's going to be. And kind of, like I said, I've had this vision for a little while here. And so let's just kind of get started with it and see what happens. And in my vision, these little light sources have been coming down like this and coming down towards the ground almost like a pyramid, or I don't know exactly what it's going to turn into. But I picked up little colors. I'm just going to knock that off on a paper towel, pick up some more of our white and yellow ochre mix. I'm going back to the middle, and also just trying to follow Bob's principle of doing the furthest away part first. And yes, I'm leaving these streaky on purpose, so I do want it to look that way. And we're just going to see what happens here as we go. So picked up a little more colors. I'm just going to get that off on that paper towel. Pick up a little more light. I do want this to stay brighter here in the middle, and kind of do that. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Yeah, you can see that pretty good, I think. This kind of candle flame body shape in the middle. It's kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So you can start having visions of things. Pay attention to those, and then just sort of let them out, because that's all that's happening here. So this is kind of just want a little more brightness through these as it comes down. And then we'll add some more light as we, like I said, I kind of saw water down here, so that's what I'm going to do. And just want a little more angle to that, a little more color to work with. And this will be a lot different by the time we get it all wrapped up. But that is turning out pretty well the way it looked in my head. I'm going to get a little more light right there in the middle. And we're just going to be off to the races here. Great day to paint. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. You got you a nice cool beverage of choice. Heck, maybe one of these times you'll drag out your paints and do this along with me. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Just maybe you paint along while I paint along. Wouldn't that be cool? So now that drink I am enjoying is actually one of the mixes that is from the company that has helped me keep my weight off. So I've been using some supplements, and that's one of those immunity kind of boosters, and I have not been sick, knock on wood, since having COVID last year in August. So taste and smell still aren't back, but some of it is. So now let's just put some kind of crazy shapes over here on the outside of the woods where that's going to be. And I'm not going to come down as low on the page because I want this to stay higher up. And like I said, we may have some cliffs or something here. So I'm just kind of hitting this at random. I do not want it to look uniform, and we're going to kind of blend that out a little bit. But you can probably see this is hitting a little bit more of the color that I put on the canvas before starting the recording, just that brown and crimson mixture there. So now let's just put a little down here in the in the water rather. I'm not going to put a lot down here because we can do this part later as well. And I know I'm going to want it bright underneath the middle part, so we can go ahead and do that though. So let's pick up some bright there. And we'll just kind of pull it out this way. I just don't want to mess up those sun ray looking things down there at the bottom. So we'll just get that back. Came out a little wider than I wanted, so just sneak it back in there a little narrower, and then we'll pull it out towards us like that. Cool, I'll dig that. I like what we got happening so far. So now let's just take another, actually we'll use a 2-inch brush to do this blending. I just want to knock some of this color back here. So if you just hit this, go over it gently with a clean, dry 2-inch brush. It really just helps blend and soften that. It may sound like I'm really giving the canvas a whack, but I'm not. I'm just barely kissing it. Just want that to ease back. Yeah, that shows. I hope that's coming through on the video because it looks like it on the monitor I'm using. Monitor, laptop. Listen to me sounding like I know something about recording stuff. I do not. I assure you. There we go. And if you ever get this on too bright, just keep working a little bit. It'll keep on fading back to just looking like distant light. Got one little broken There we go. Hair from the canvas, or brush canvas, gracious. Pay attention. Glad I'm not trying to chew gum too. We would have a mess on our hands. All right, let's put, before we get too much further, I'm going to put some just straight titanium light here in the middle so that stays extra, extra bright for us. Blend that out just a little. And we're going to get going on some trees. Let's not be shy with that white. Don't need tons of it, but I just want to do this probably once. So, and I want our lightest part right in that middle part there. There it goes. You don't want to make yours bright like that? Yeah. Your canvas, your world. Isn't that the great part? And I've taken most of that paint off of here, so that will stay pretty well. Just kind of blending some of those streaky brush marks down, but I did want to keep them because I like these. This is what I had in my head, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. So just going to knock off on my paper towel the extra we had there on that. And before we get too crazy, I want to put off some real distant shapes, and I don't think they would have much to them, so we're just going to add a tiny whisper of alizarin crimson to that yellow ochre and white mix we had that we did the light part with, just to kind of pink it up a little bit. And let me put off in the distance there just the idea of some trees, some bushy kind of things, and that should help our feeling of having this cliff. I don't know, we'll just see what happens. So again, let's just tap some paint in there. And we're going to come off, kind of think about, okay, if this were the land level way back here, we're just going to want these guys in here. I'm going to come back with another brush and kind of tap these down a little bit. But right now, just want the indication to sit out there, and it's just a whisper darker than that color. And this is going to help us have that feeling of depth kind of going on. And you can really take this out as far as you want, however you would think the light would strike it, and then you can put dark highlights on it if you want to. That may be what we're going to do. We're certainly going to put some other tree things and really just kind of make this a pretty cool, different kind of. I'm not doing this at random. To me, I'm thinking tree shapes. We'll put some darker ones that hang over the light a little bit. Not at random. Just because I'm trying to go quickly does not mean it's just haphazard and just bashing away, because that is not how it's going to give you a result that you'll be happy with. Yeah, you'll start seeing this, I hope, kind of come together for you. It's starting to happen for me, and I'm digging that. So I just like to get some of that in there. Okay, so now let's come back in. We can do this with really any clean dry brush that we want. I happen to grab a 2-inch first, so I'm just going to tap out the bottom of some of this, and you'll see it's going to give me, where it's picking up the paint, it's actually going to give me almost like another little layer of bushes and mist, and pretty cool how it works out that way. These guys can just drift off to nothing there. Cool, I'm digging that. All right, so let's put in a couple of distant tree limbs back there. So I'm going to grab some, let's do it with just a little, how about, what would be way back there? Let's think about a little color. How about some brown and dark sienna? I just don't want it quite as dark as straight brown would be. So we're just just going to mix those real quick on the palette. Those about equal parts, dark sienna and some brown. So it's still a nice dark color. Kind of moosh that out so I can get it with some couple of drops of paint thinner. I like to use a little dropper thing, and I just have some real clean paint thinner over here. I'm going to take my little script liner brush, get that in some paint thinner, make this real thin. I'm just going to do these quick. I just want a couple of branches back there. Not going to see much of them, but again, it's just going to help with that appearance of looking way off in the distance here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to do that with my hand. It's really just trying to do that with my arm, and my hand is kind of naturally shaky with doing this anyway. I have had quite a bit of coffee this morning, so that helps also. And don't worry, that may look like it sticks out way into the middle, but that will change here as we get going and put some things on that. So just kind of whatever shape tree branches you see happening. Some people start to see almost like the horns of a deer. I say, hey, pretty cool. You've got your camera, shoot them with that. If you need something to eat, shoot them with that. There we go. All right, so just some indications. We're not going to see a whole bunch of that. And I just like doing it so I don't forget. All right, so I just rinsed that little script liner brush. So let's go a little bit darker on our mix here. We can just start picking up a little bit of that brown. Mix it in with our light color. And just again, I'm going for darker shades. So that's kind of a nice, I don't really know what, mauve, pinkish, something-ish, I don't know what you call it. I like it. So we're just going to put in a few. We'll come back with some straighter yellow and put some highlights on these. So just putting in some of these for use later. Plus, they'd be pretty bright if they're out here all by themselves in this bright sun. Depending on where you're standing, at least that's how it would look to me, I think. So just putting in some of those for fun. All right, let's get some big old trees in here. So I'm going to grab a fan brush, and we're going to do that today with, let's just start with some brown. Let's see how these ones out in the dark go with some brown. And we're not going to do huge trees first. We're going to do some that are kind of further away. So let's just kind of put in a tree. Maybe he's got an arm that comes out like that. And then he's got a friend over here that lives right there. So this is a big tree. So we're going to say he just kind of goes like that. We'll put a few arms on these cats here in just a minute. And then let's pull one a little bit larger one down in there. Let's put a couple on the other side. Kind of like how that's happening right there. I'm going to blend these back just a little bit so they kind of drift off into the painting there. So we are going to take our, let's do this with another clean, dry 1-inch brush. Obviously, I have several going. I got 2 in that hand. I got 1 over here, got 2 down here. So we're just going to blend them in the same way we painted them in, which is vertically. And you ought to be seeing that just sort of drift back a little further into the painting. If I get my arm out of the way there, hopefully you'll see that pretty well. There we go. Just kind of makes them set back in there and helps us add some more depth and distance to our painting, which is what one of the fun parts is. Makes it look like it's really far away. So we'll grab that same script liner brush we were using before and go right back into that same brown and dark sienna mix that we made and just put a few, just a few. So we'll see a few indications of these guys sticking through. Not a lot, but so let's just put on a few quick branches. In my forest, the way I've been looking at and talking to the trees lately. The woods are real thick. You don't see tons of branches. You see lots of leaf cover. You see some amazing birds. We've got a really beautiful couple of hawks that live in the woods past the retention pond here in our neighborhood in Ocala. And man, just to see them sitting up at the top, they always pick the tallest tree. It's like they just want to keep an eye on everything, maybe look for something for lunch. So cool. All right, let's just put kind of a little guy or gal over here. Maybe they grow off our page this way. Just because I'm out of canvas doesn't mean the woods would stop over here. I have heard Bob say that on numerous different videos. And I love it when I remember it. So now we want to put some dark back there. You know what? We're just going to use the big old 2-inch brush for that. And I'm going to pick up just some more brown. Just some more brown. I'm just going to push this into the brush so there's a ridge of paint out there, and that's what we're going to be painting with. Just really the corner. And then we're going to come back and put some highlights on. So let's just see if we like our color. Yep. I like to start with the darkest here in the lightest part because that's where we'll come back and put the highlights. And it just makes it really stand out quite well. That may be backwards for how you like to do it. It's fine. On your painting, you do it how you want to do it. And if this doesn't stick, then I'll pick up just a touch of paint thinner because a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. If I'm going to stay anywhere near that 30-minute time, I'm going to get speeding up here, don't I? There we go. Kind of like how we got that happening there. Come in here. Got some branches going this way. Some nice leaf coverage there. Oh, I like that one. Sometimes it just seems like it works better than others. I haven't done one I've been totally satisfied with yet, and I think that's a good thing. I think that'll keep me coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back for many moons to come. It's good to improve, but not get too full of yourself. All right, let's put some on this guy. And maybe we'll have a few on there that we'll get some highlight on. Oh yeah, I like how we're kind of closing that in, and then we're going to come back with some bright color, beautiful yellows. All right, now I'm going to use this same brush just to put in some kind of background bushy things. I'm just going to use the top edge. So I've got some things happening here between the trees, in front of the trees, kind of going off that side there. And the cool thing about having color on the canvas already, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is picking up some color there. So that's working out pretty good. Let's do the same over here. There we go. Well, yeah, let's pull this all the way over here since we said our ledge was going to be over there. Don't want to cover up each and every piece of what you do because that would look kind of choppy and funny. Your eye probably wouldn't like that, at least mine don't. You just want to use color variation and it kind of does different things for you. I am digging what we got going there. So one of my favorite brushes is this 1-inch oval. It's curved at the top, and man, you just pick up the coolest little shapes and colors. And I'm going to knock these down real quick so I can pick up these colors a little easier. So now I just want a hint, and I mean a hint, of liquid white on the end of that, just so I can thin this just ever so slightly to pick up some yellows, and I'm going to let these blend on the brush. And we're just going to kind of get a nice color variation. Ooh, I like that. Touch a little more of that liquid white, because again, thin paint will stick to thick paint, and I did have to use a little bit of paint thinner to get my dark color on the leaves to stick the way I wanted it to. So we're just going to do that. And just touch. Don't eat up all your dark here. Leave the dark to show your light. Then just think about where light will come through and let it out. Let it out. Don't try to overthink this. Do it. Let it out. And I think you'll be the happier for it. And so maybe, as we get over here, we're going to pick up a little bit more of that red, alizarin crimson color, and mix it in. I don't want it just straight red yet. I don't want it that bright, but let's see how we're doing here. Ooh, I like what we got going there. How do you like that? Do you like that? I bet we get a related color on these cats over here. And see how that just looks like a whole nother set of tree branches over there? Isn't that fun? Boy, that's good fun. Well, I'm not going to finish this in 30 minutes. I'm going to tell you that right now. But we're going to keep on rolling because I think, well, I tried to quote time doing that 2 foot by 3 foot canvas the other day. And I think I said there was like 7 or 10 minutes remaining, and I went on for another half hour. So let's leave the predictions to our illustrious weather professionals. They're so magnificent at coming back every day after being incorrect. So I'm going to leave that to their expertise there. Let's not cover up all our dark. So let's knock this out on the other side, figure out what we're doing here in the bottom, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Come back, pick up a little more mix of this yellow. I just sort of like what happens when all these colors mix together. If you are a for real art person, watching me paint probably gives you heartburn. Sorry about that. I am not a classically or skillfully trained artist. I just love it, and I like what happens when it just falls out of the brush. So that's what I do. A few highlights on these cats. All right, let's do a little something in here. Just highlight wise. And maybe we'll come back and do a little better. All right, I am seeing some land there, so let's take our brown, pull it out flat, cut across it. We've got that even row of paint, and let's do this. Let's see if we can't just shape in some pretty cool kind of cliff shapes. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but that's kind of what I see. So if you painted with Bob before, what I'm doing is similar to putting snow on the mountain as far as just letting it break. And I kind of want my land feeling to come this way, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with it down here at the water. We'll come back and put some good highlight on this. Obviously, I'm not getting it covered in here very well yet. Picking up too much. I'm going to show you a trick I've learned, and we'll see how well that works. We're going to use the fan brush to do some highlights and dragging this down into the water here. So we'll see if we can't make that work out to something pretty decent looking. Gracious sakes. I've got an army of brushes in my hand. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, what do we got there? That's that one. Let's grab a clean fan brush and just kind of lighten up some dark sienna, titanium white. Ooh, that's a good highlight color. I like that. Kind of looks like dirt with sunshine on it already, so that should help us out there. And let's just see, we're just going to touch and kind of follow our, just looking for kind of a rocky face feeling. Give it a little contour. There's 30 minutes, so we're going to keep going. Hope you can hang with us and are digging this. Did not practice this one before trying to roll it out to you. And sometimes you just sort of see things as you're trying to get them done. So it just sort of feels like this is supposed to go this way. Let's do some that are more straight down looking. Maybe they'll be a little more in the dark. I've certainly felt that way in my life. Put myself in the dark. Also kind of gives us some character down here at the waterline. I kind of like what we got going there. And we'll just kind of pull that guy in there as well. So we'll do something over here to make this a little more appealing to the eye, I think. But for right now, I am okay with that. So let's do that same thing on the other side. Ran out of brown, so we're going to use another color. I've been blabbing so long, I don't want to take the time to it will take to get out of the paint jar the additional brown that we need. And who knows, maybe this is a waterfall back there. Maybe that's what we're going to have happen and something over here. So we'll just kind of have this come down about that same level and see what happens here. So let's grab a little more white. And we were just using that sienna. So I'm going to knock off some of this dark because I've picked up quite a bit of dark on that fan brush. Whoops. So I'm just wiping off the chunks. Just wiping off the chunks. And I do want to leave this marbly and all spread out on the brush there. Because that just really just kind of helps it. Oh no, that's kind of cool looking. I don't know. I'm going to leave a couple of dark streaks in there if I can, because that's kind of like helping me out with just some highlight color on the mountain, if you know what I'm talking about, on old mountain pictures that the great Bob Ross does and does so amazingly. All right, I kind of like what we got going there. Let's just kind of cheat in a few rocks back here if we can, just to give the hint that there's still something happening back there. And we'll blend that out just a smidge as we put some white on there in a little bit. Okay, I kind of like that. Now let's get something on top of those so they don't look like they're just sticking out there. And let's kind of go a little darker than we have. In my eyes, these guys would be in the shade of these other bushes a little bit. We'll get a little something hanging off that one there at the end. Kind of make him look like they're really going for it out there. And the dark's just to give me something to put some light on. So if you can't see that, that's okay. We're going to come back to the other side of this. Just brush mix some more kind of cool colors here and just tap those in wherever we think they should go. There, now we got a little bit of that happening. And let's put in just a little kind of brown layer of fuzz here, just so it looks like, what is happening there? Can anybody really tell? Know that we actually care. just want it to kind of fall out and happen for us. Let's just let it do that. Oh, I love it when it leaves a little texture like that. Man, when that dries, that is just so cool. You can actually feel it on the brush, or feel it on the canvas. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I like what we got going here. This is a little Indian yellow over here. I love the way that kind of just makes these kind of, maybe some fun's happening back over there in these woods. All right, quick time check because I do have an appointment across town. So let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Let's figure out what we're going to do with this water here. So we're going to take a different fan brush, put some white on it, and let's just make sure we've got the water the way we want it, getting brighter and wider as it comes towards us. And you know what? Let's do it straight up and down with a whisper of liquid white again. I like how that turns out. So we're going to just pull that in. You say, oh, Dan, you've done it now. Well, you might be right, but let's see what we got. So we're going to just kind of cut this guy back and forth so we can still see the line. But we're going to get narrow, 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 narrow as it happens back there. I don't really want reflection down here because I just don't, that's not how it looks in my head. I kind of just want it to blend away. It's kind of dark. It's kind of way back in here on some of these and a little closer on others. I just want it to know that we're looking over the water. So we'll probably drop a big tree in here because I love doing that. So we're going to just kind of blend out the bottom of our little land back there. Let's put some water line in there just to kind of separate the two. So we're going to do that with some white, liquid white. And I'm not going to want this to be super, super bright. So I just want some indication, kind of helps us know that we're definitely dealing with some water. Now this is the part you can take out your frustrations with. Try and cut a hole through the canvas, but just keep your strokes pretty well flat, straight across, horizontal, whatever word makes sense to you. Otherwise your water really will look like it's going to run off your canvas over here on the side. Likely drive you nuts. Well, maybe if you're as nuts as I am, you're already there. Oh, isn't that fun? Isn't that cool how it just does that? All right, we may have to pause this. I have not had to do that yet, but we may have to. So let's put that down. Let's see if we can let ourselves get one good big tree up in here in the front. Maybe we got a tree that starts here and is right in front of us. So let's just go for a big old tree right down there. And this is a big tree. I mean, he's a big one. And we are gonna, maybe he's cypress related or something like that, but we're just gonna give him some big old feet. Gonna give him some big old limb or two. Maybe he's got a limb that comes out this way. Maybe he's got another one that goes up that way. We'll get some tree coverage on that one, and let's have a tree. Maybe he doesn't go all the way off the page on this side. Maybe he just kind of, still a big strong tree down here in this beautiful area. Let's give him some land down here to be standing on so he's not just out here in the middle of this. We can really do this part with any brush we want. I happen to have a fan brush in hand when I did it. So again, I'm just giving myself some place to put some highlights and other foliage type things. And I just like to cover up and hide the water. I don't want it to feel like we're still in the water. Alright, let's do the same over here. Maybe he's on an island more shaped this way. That just sort of comes down like this. So we've still got this little kind of thing there. Cover up his feet a little bit. It would certainly be dark this way, wouldn't it? With the shadow of that tree. Need some more dark color. Got some red in that, that's cool. Yeah, I'm probably looking like I'm banging away randomly. Partly, you're correct, but there's also some method in my head I am following. Just trying to give us some shape, some bush stuff to go with. Alright, let's grab our 1-inch brush again. Scrub out some of that darker color we had. Let's just get our yellows and now I've kind of got a bunch of schmutz on this brush, so let's take care of that real quick. Damn, too long. Sorry this is going so long. Lose track of time doing this, believe it or not. I like that one. I'm just trying to think about individual little bush things. You come back and push the other way, you get some cool grassy things. Just don't cover up all your dark here. And this to me would not be nearly as light, so we're going to let that stay dark like that. And then let's pick up some of our lighter color, mix with a little darker. One direction here through the paint, spin it around, and then get these cool little bushy shapes going. And we're going to add some grassy things again, just because we have got to stop the clock and get on another count. I'm going to be late. And that's just how we go. At first I didn't like our sunbeam things that were happening there, but now I gotta tell you, I kind of do. So let's just put a couple of little bit less bright things here. And just a few little grassy kind of things that run off into the woods over that way. Like that. There. And, oh, man, I'm late. Darn. I will be there shortly. We just need a couple of other branches coming off of these guys. Put some leaves on there, then we're going to be done for now. Maybe done altogether. I don't typically come back to paintings to keep going on them, so I don't really want to start that now. So we're going to get wrapped up. Where's my dark old 2-inch brush? There it is. And let's do that again. Just a good dark color. And put some highlights on these in just a second. We're really just trying to paint with the corner of the brush there. Put in a bunch of leaves. Just kind of moshing all the dark colors together to get this guy finished off here. And I don't want to cover up all that work we did before, so we're not going to do that. Nor are all these leaves on this side of the tree, so hopefully that will keep its look that it's back there behind it. All right. Well, gold star for you if you've stuck with me this far. I appreciate that. We are just about done with where we're taking this guy. Just a few more highlights down here, probably. A little bit of light would get through there. Don't know exactly how, don't know that we care. Get a little more white. The thing I will do is wait just a little bit to sign this one because I had to use so much thinner paint down there. I don't want to smear it all with red and paint thinner. All right, we're going to call this one done. I kind of like how it started. I like the light choice or changes on this one. It's a little different, a little strange. I dig it. Hope you do too. See you next time. Bye. Oh wait, I got to take a picture before the recording is complete is one thing I've wanted to do. But to get it right, it helps if we do that. Rats. There we go. We'll have the picture posted with it. Have a great day.